Zadegan to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers! Welcome to a new episode of Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. If you haven't noticed, we have a very special guest here next to me. Before I introduce her, if you guys are listening, keep on listening. If you haven't done so, please go on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, rate, review, subscribe. Your guys' YouTube comments and tweets are awesome, and they make us so happy, so please keep them coming. I have, of course, the very beautiful Alanna Ubach here next to me, who plays Jo on Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, ladies.
And where can everyone find you on Twitter if they want to ask you any questions?
At Alanna Ubach, ALANNAUBACH.
And I, of course, have these two very lovely ladies here with me. Would you like to introduce yourselves and let us know where we can find you on Twitter?
Absolutely. I'm Lindsey Miller, and you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere at Rockin' Mama Life.
And I'm Isis Velazquez, and you can find me at Isis Velazquez and the number 4 on Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff.
And of course, you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at SamD43 on Twitter and Instagram, and AfterBuzz TV at AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms. Tonight we're talking about Season 2, Episode 9, Rule number 81, There's No Crying in Porn.
Yeah, no.
Such a
no crying in porn.
That's an amazing name. First off, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah.
It's really funny. My husband's studio, he's a record producer, and he's a block away.
Ooh.
I could have literally
should come more
walked
often.
from his studio. I will. I'll be here tomorrow
Perfect.
for lunch.
We can't wait. So, in general, what did you guys think of this episode? And for you, Alanna, like, was this a fun one for you to shoot?
Well, absolutely, because it was. It starts to sort of allow people to see where the relationship is going with Scott, and she's. You know, I think she's very torn in this episode, and we're right in the middle of the season, so without really giving everything away, she finally sees Megan Hilty's character, Charlene, for who she is and what she's really all about, and she immediately discovers her with when she discovers her with Scott. She thinks, wow, this is something that that I can use in court, and she really is a manipulative bitch, and now I know, and now everyone else knows what she's all about. But it's really interesting what is about to happen. So keep on watching.
So much. I can't wait. What did you guys think of this week's?
I loved this week. I loved having the male gigolo back in the mix.
Yeah,
and
isn't he a
bringing him
babe?
back, right?
Yeah.
Abby's still kind of weirdo, but I thought it was good, and I love that you're here this episode, because I feel like this episode we see a lot of Jo's colors, and we see her sort of growing as a character and as a mom, and we get to see some different sides of her, like really coping with like what is happening in this world with her.
I think the only real stable thing in her life right now is the relationship she has with her child, and it's the most authentic thing in her life right now, and she has to do whatever she can to keep herself afloat, and the bakery depends on, you know, the hardworking, talented Mr. Scott.
And Hottie Toddy Baker.
Yeah, my gosh. I mean, he just has to stop sticking his penis in everything and get some baking done. And perhaps she might be, you know, the next, who knows, Sprinkles.
Or does he? Or does he need to stop sticking his penis in everything?
I don't know, because
That's
I
the
think
question.
a lot of women have fallen madly in love with his Michelangelo David Tushy. And I believe it was carved.
I mean, I don't mind seeing him.
Wait,
collar
have
his
you
pants
seen
down.
him? Like,
Oh, it's marble.
oh.
It's literally marble. I think someone was given, a big slab of marble, some artist, and decided to carve Will Kemp's tushy and the rest of his physique. It's insane. He was a dancer, so, I mean, I found myself really not turned on, jealous. Jealous of such a great body.
He has a great rear end.
He's blessed.
And that was not a double. That's
a
his
chick
rear
ass.
end.
That is a chick ass, ladies.
It's a good one. What did you think, Isis?
I gotta say that you guys all know Joe's my favorite character.
Oh, I love you.
are.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's a sweet thing.
No, it really is. And
Awesome.
a lot of the reason is because you play a Puerto Rican character. I'm
Yeah.
Puerto Rican, so.
You are.
Yes.
Boricua.
Yes,
Así como
Boricua.
no. ¿De qué parte de México?
De Puerto Rico.
Excúsame.
Yo sé que tú eres
Puerto
mitad
Rico.
mexicana.
Mi mamá es de Sinaloa, mi papi es de San Juan.
Puertorriqueño.
¿Sí?
Ok, yo soy de Santurce.
Santurce. Mi papi también.
There you go.
Sí.
Estamos cerca.
No way.
Yes.
I was just in Puerto Rico. Well, I wasn't just in Puerto Rico. About a couple of years ago. I had a blast.
Puerto Rico's wonderful.
Ooh, you Puerto Ricans know how to party, honey.
Oh, you should know too. You have some of it. So,
Half and half.
Half and half. But then your husband is Italian. I heard you saying.
He's Italian.
They party too.
Yeah, Siciliano, sí. ¿Cómo
And
no?
Sicilian.
Oh, okay.
Sicilian.
Well, I gotta say about this character. This episode for me was very heartbreaking to see Joe go through so many hard emotions.
Absolutely.
You kind of go to this PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
and that really,
For all you children watching.
yes, and that really kind of, because I love your character. So for me to see you breaking down, seeing such a tough woman fighting, you know, I'm not gonna deal with this. I'm gonna do this for Zoe and my bakery. So to see you break down as a character, it really hurt me. It bothered me.
Sure.
It was just like, no, I don't want to see Joe like this.
Well, it's interesting because when they're first introduced, all these characters in the first season, they come across as these sort of airy, fly by the seat of my pants, fun, happy-go-lucky chicks who are celebrating their divorces. And I think in this next season, in this second season, I think it's interesting watching them sort of implode before our eyes on a weekly basis. And I think it's calls for great storytelling. Thank you, Marty.
Yeah, thank
It
you,
gets
Marty.
real.
Well, I felt the
real.
pain. I felt the pain. I felt
Yeah.
Joe's pain. So it really, for me as an audience, it just kind of like, oh man, all right, I got to
Yeah.
keep on tuning in. I want to see her get better. I want to see her fight this.
Sure.
So it was kind of heartbreaking this episode.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you're playing a character like this, and I'm happily married, but I do have a lot of girlfriends of mine who are going through her situation, and it's just really interesting. The whole Tinder world now.
So scary.
She's been married. She was married for such a long time and got married in her 20s, and to actually come out of a divorce in your 40s and have to do the dating thing now
Horrifying.
is horrifying,
Horrifying.
to say the least, baby.
It's okay. I've done it too, so I know the whole.
Really?
No,
Yes.
if I ever had to Tinder, I would just get cats.
Just texting.
Like it's
I mean, just the texting. There's a whole art to texting.
It's exhausting.
Yes, I think the Supreme Court even actually voted that texting is an art form nowadays.
It is.
And video games.
Which is an amazing segue into the beginning of the episode, which is also Abby's storyline.
Yes.
With Abby and Harris. We see a really fun scene at the beginning with you, Joe, and Abby and Phoebe to, go to the ceremony for Delia. She's being, given an award. And
Yes.
Abby is being like a teenage girl on her phone.
Yeah,
The entire
because
time?
she was not conditioned, or she wasn't exposed to the kind of dating scene now, because she was too busy being married and having 2 kids and raising them. And now that she's divorced and she's in her late 40s, and has such a solitary job. I mean, her livelihood depends on her being. It's a very solitary job to be a writer, to be to do what she does for a living. That she is, at the end of the day, an artist through and through, and she's just sort of thrusted into this superficial plastic world that has to do with social media, and it's killing her.
It is. It's so interesting because she's almost like a teenager being influenced by social media, right?
She is.
Because she's new to it.
She's
so
new to it.
She's new to it. So
she's a novice.
So
yeah.
she'll believe anything Harris or whoever tells her, but then she sees.
Oh, she'll take everything at face value, of
Yes,
course.
and then she sees the pictures of like, where is he? Wait, he's at the correspondence dinner.
And isn't it fascinating that a man that age can still be a player? It's so weird and tacky.
he's so tacky.
It's
Oh,
sad.
it's
well,
so
it's actually
gross.
very true. There's a lot of men here in LA that are like that.
And well, I think especially Los Angeles because it breeds people who are usually it's such a what's the word I'm looking for transient kind of town. In other words, very rarely there are anomalies that were born and raised in Los Angeles. It does remind me very much of Las Vegas in a way because a lot of people are from somewhere else, and at one point in their lives they were inspired to say, you know what, I'm just not enough. I want to reinvent myself. I'm moving to Los Angeles and I'm going to be famous. And I don't care what's going to make me famous, but I got my eyes on the prize and people become obsessed with it. And, unfortunately, if you are leading such a dishonest life and Los Angeles brings the most dishonest and plasticity out in people, is that, eventually they do implode. And it's really sad to see. I've got a lot of friends of mine, Whoa! But I saw it in my late 20s where I just thought, my God, a lot of Dr. Harris is in the making.
Mm-hmm. Oh God,
where are they now?
What does Joe? Okay, what do you as a person think about Dr. Harris, Alanna, and what do you think Joe thinks about Dr. Harris?
Oh, I think Joe sees right through Dr. Harris, and she's been in the dating scene. She's kind of thrown herself into the whole Tinder dating scene and is now embittered by it because of what had happened. She almost got date raped, and she sort of, it reminds me very much of. You guys are so young. Looking for Mr. Goodbar.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. You're looking for shoes. Excuse me, my lips got juicy. Looking for Mr. Goodbar. Yeah. It's in other words, she becomes a victim to this world that she's sort of forced to get into because she is single and she. It's funny what all these characters think they're supposed to portray. Mm-hmm. That the representatives are never really themselves. And you asked me, what does she think of Dr. Harris? I think she sees right through him, obviously, because she's used to the dating scene. And what do I think of Dr. Harris? I think he is the perfect specimen of L.A.
douche.
Repugnance.
He's a sleazeball.
Yes. What are you going to do?
Super sleazy.
They're out there.
They are.
By the droves.
I did want to like him, but...
I did too,
I
but
want
I'm
to
over
shake Abby.
He's an amazing actor, dude.
Doing?
What a cool guy. What a cool cat.
Looks like Robert Redford.
Yes, he does.
Like 30 years, 50 years ago. Maybe like 35 years ago.
I mean, that jawline.
Jaw.
It's insane. Yeah.
He just doesn't do it for me. I don't know, he's too pretty.
Yeah, sure.
Like, package him up and sell him next to Barbie. Like, give me Hattie Toddy Baker's little rough around the edges with a perfect ass.
Ken, sit down. Sit down, Ken. Go home.
Oh, I'm excited to see what happens with him, but Abby also has another love interest in this episode, which is Gigolo Carl.
Woo! Who doesn't love a gigolo?
I loved Joe's reaction at the luncheon ceremony thing.
Yeah.
She's like, Gigolo, where?
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Which
so
one is he?
excited to see a gigolo. They're like celebrities in a way.
Right.
I mean, especially a male gigolo. What an anomaly. Yeah. It's so interesting. Have you ever met a male gigolo?
I have not.
Have you ever had a male gigolo in your life before?
I don't think so.
They fascinate me.
I would love to have one.
I never even knew they existed.
I would love to have one. I think there was a reality TV show on gigolos and what they do and how
on Showtime,
something like that.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
Yes, and they're all beautiful, just like Carl.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, women are just as visual as men. Let me tell you something. If I see
I don't know. I think of like male gigolos and I think of like the hot tub at a really gross hotel.
Cheesy.
Yes.
You know a lot of really bad stuff has happened in there and you just don't want to get in.
There you go. Yeah, that penis is seen
like it looks,
a lot.
Yeah, like it looks nice in theory, like, oh, that'd be so relaxing, but then you start thinking about it and you're like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Valtrex. Just
keep it on your
OD
person.
on Valtrex and wash your entire body in Purell and you're good to go.
See, it's really funny because I thought that Abby was never really going to dive into that pond of gigolo officially because she couldn't, she'd be grossed out. And
I think the old Abby would, but the new Abby, not so much.
She's so lost. I don't know. I just feel like she's so lost.
Absolutely.
Like, she's like, Harris is like clearly not into her in the way that she wants him to be. And then, you see it with Carl and he's, the whole time I kept thinking, is he really, like, is this real or is he just looking to make some cash while he's in LA? Or like,
wait till you see what he does.
And then we find out about the...
We got a little idea when he said, I use your name and the agency, right there. And I think she kind of felt something and saw right through that.
She was really turned off.
She was turned off. She walked and she left and she was so...
Well, let's hope. Because she looks like she's on the verge of
well, I think, like
nervous breakthrough.
felt like you see her kind of realizing, like,
you're using me.
Okay, everybody's using me.
Everyone's using me.
Everybody's using me, and I'm curious to see where she goes from there.
If we talk about using, I want to go back to, remember the young guy. Will, I love that character.
What a beautiful face.
Oh, can he come back?
That face doesn't get much better, does it?
Please tell us he comes back.
I'm jealous of him too.
He's so gorgeous.
I know.
Gorgeous.
Mom and Dad did a great job.
If you go back to him, there was a scene, one of the ending scenes, where he's talking in a third person while he's breaking up with her after he has sex with her.
Right.
So my thought is that he was inspired by her writing a book, and that he's going to come back in a couple of episodes or maybe next season. He's such a beautiful actor that I will love to see him back. And not only that, he was a lovable character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
And a beautiful person, a family man, married to an actress, lives in Canada. He's just fabulous.
Yeah, I did some creepy research on him,
God.
actually.
He's your kind of mushy face, is he? You slut.
I know.
So gorgeous.
I love Sammy.
So
Is he
gorgeous.
going to come back? I really feel like...
I can't tell you.
I really feel he was inspired by
Bravo,
Abby.
call me up. Will literally knock on my... Hello. Yes, it's Bravo. What can I give you? Your firstborn child, and we're gonna stab you. Well, alrighty. It's in the contract.
I know,
In the
right?
small writing. I signed something.
400
I want him to come back. I feel like he's going to be inspired by Abby. He wrote a book and then he bumps into her in like some book fair or something.
Yes,
yeah.
that would be amazing just for all of us in general. But to get to Joe's character,
Yes.
which we kind of touched on a little bit, she is going through something that is really hard and intense. She feels as though she's losing her child.
Absolutely.
And, she sees that Zoe is making this connection with Charlene.
Absolutely. They're bonding. And whether Joe likes it or not, this woman is now in her life permanently. Well, as long as they stay together. And she's manipulative and she's a cheater. And everything that Joe thought she was, she is. And lo and behold, it's this cliche that you hope never happens to you, but it's cliche for a reason. Here we go. But her kid is falling in love with Charlene. They really are bonding. She's having a wonderful time, and it's interesting. But the way I see it, and just reading the script on a weekly basis, I'm like, and Charlene could give a crap about my kid. She's basically weaseling her way into the picture because she has to for a reason. And it's a power trip that she's on right now, and she's a control freak, and it's very interesting where her character goes. Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh. I kill her.
Megan.
No, I said it. No.
Dude, that would be awesome.
I shoot her. I shoot the bitch.
Just do something.
As you should. Well, I feel like
do something that a Puerto Rican would do.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But.
Secretly poison so she doesn't get caught.
Yeah. Charlene, open the door.
Predictions. I feel like that scene, where Joe goes running out onto the tennis court and basically makes a fool of herself, but she's so, as a mom, I'm like, oh my god, she's so excited. I couldn't imagine if my kid won like a tennis game and I didn't even know he could play tennis. I'd be like, oh my god,
absolutely.
That mom who's like totally embarrassing her child.
Well, it's funny, and I think it's also a cultural thing too. She's a New Yorker and she's Puerto Rican, and it really does have a lot to do with that. She's not exactly this, tight-jawed wasp sitting there with her little tennis outfit, waving at her child and saying, wonderful, here's a nice hot, a warm or a cold towel for you to wipe the beads of sweat on your forehead. You did a lovely job, sweetheart. Let's go home.
But I feel like that's like the moment where we start to see Joe realize her daughter's view of her.
Sure.
And like that brings in like this whole just heartbreaking thing and sort of the realization of why she is enamored with Charlene. Because
oh my God.
it's sort of like all of the things that she doesn't have that her daughter puts so much value on.
Well, yes, she's a bouquet of Charlene is a bouquet of lavender. And she's a sachet. She's baby's breath and cinnamon and powdered blue. And her biological mother, Jo, is salt and acrid. And she's a shot of cheap tequila.
Yeah.
And
She's a graffiti wall.
She's a graffiti wall, and but a Banksy on top of it. Not Chaka.
You know what I want to see Joe doing? I want to see Joe joining this tennis club.
Oh, that would be
Amazing.
amazing.
I would like to see that. I would like to see where it will go.
Stay tuned for third season. There you go.
I don't think Joe would get in.
She would not get in, and Shirley
they're
would do anything
so
in her power
pretentious.
to. Yeah, of course. Maybe she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We spoke a little bit off the air earlier about working with Megan Hilty.
Yes.
Which is, we love Megan Hilty, and I was reading an article the other day that she was talking about how people gave her so much hate and she felt bad, but then she became happy because she realized she did a good job with her character.
Well, of course, anything that anyone writes on, social media is so interesting to me because obviously, whether it's negative or positive, it doesn't matter. You're affecting them emotionally and psychologically, and so from that they feel like they have to get in front of their freaking laptops and have a comment about something because they want to share what they've been affected by. So what's so funny is that it's a character we're playing.
Yeah.
You're playing a damn character. You're there for 12 hours, you go home, you're back to your normal little smelly self. And then you go back to work the next day and you play pretend all over again. But when people respond to these characters, it cracks me up because I think, my gosh, it's hilarious to me because it's all make believe and everyone believes it and we're doing a good job, whether people hate it or not.
Yeah.
People are watching. That's all that matters, right?
She is amazing. With that being said, still
She's unbelievable.
being a bitch.
Yeah, she's great at being a bitch and one of the sweetest people you've ever met in your life. I'm telling you, wouldn't say if her mouth was full of it.
That was shit, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, can we say shit?
Yeah, I think
Shit.
so.
I don't know. I swear all the time.
Shit.
Only like once.
Let's not get carried away.
Crap, vagina, penis.
Oh my god, how old are we?
Oh, you girls make me feel so young.
I love it. It's amazing, the character that's developing. But at the end of the day, though, we end up seeing Joe and Scott talking, which we talked about a little bit.
Did you love his Chinese robe that he was wearing, his little robe?
The trailer.
That was my idea. We were talking to Wardrobe and I thought, wouldn't it be adorable if he was wearing a little Chinese robe? When he answered, like he's just so cozy and eccentric when he's not working.
Yes.
In his little,
Was he naked
Will was
underneath?
like, I'll take it. Well, honey, how do you think I got inspired?
We were always trying to figure out if Joe ever slept with Scott.
That's
in
an
the
interesting
past.
thing. I think they had a couple of proper Rogerings at maybe like a flower convention, FLOUR, perhaps, or some kind of, baking goods, party or something in the parking lot.
Because Joe always saying, don't sleep with him, don't sleep with him. So it's like, did you have something? What happened? Or
he may have been sexual napalm for her at one point. Maybe she got a little obsessed up here, and she knows how that probably affected them. But I'm almost positive they slept together. Come on,
They had to have.
I mean,
He
what is
sleeps
Joe, a
with
schmuck?
everything.
Exactly.
And he's freaking hot.
I mean, his penis is right there, and it's always hungry, and so
Likes to rise.
and loves everything. So he's not exactly picky, is what I'm saying. So I'm sure at one point he did, but maybe not. I'm just thinking because she was married when she did find. Now that I think about it, she was married when she did find Scott, and I don't think Joe's a cheater.
No,
I
don't
think
think so
she's pretty
either.
committed. So maybe not. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a brother sister incestuous sort of thing. Who's to tell? Who's to know?
Well, not to get into predictions yet, but we think that, at least I do, there will be a...
Well, the previews were juicy.
Yes, we have some juicy previews, but you do also really, confess to him what's been going on with, Joe's character.
Sure.
As far as what happened with the Tinder dates.
Oh, absolutely. They confide in each other, and I think they're best friends, and I think that makes for a beautiful foundation, obviously, for a very strong relationship in the future. Who is to say? I'm not really sure, but I can't give everything away. But they're becoming very close, and she protects him,
Yeah.
And they have each other's back all the time, and they don't judge each other, which is interesting.
That's why I think they're perfect for each other.
Absolutely.
Although she's gonna hook up with Jake.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I was gonna save that till the end, but now that
Where
we're
is
here,
that crystal ball of yours, ladies?
I'm so good at this.
I mean,
I thought, Alanna, you were gonna be so offended by that question. Be like, are you kidding me? No way, she's not gonna hook up with Jake. I thought that was just totally off limits.
oh no. In fact, when I met Will, I was just like, did we sleep together? What do you think? Let's do this. We got to do homework. And I think at one point he was just like, yeah, we may have had like maybe a one-night stand or something like that was just disastrous.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe
Because there's some serious hate between them. And like you usually don't hate
maybe something
someone
really
that
embarrassing
much
happened when they were having
unless
sex.
there's like a real reason.
I think, what was my
Or
backstory?
some love.
She may have farted while they were during a one-night stand. Those are always
I feel like
awful.
he would find that amusing though.
Yeah, he probably would have, but maybe she was just horrified. Who knows? I'll get back to you on that one.
That's just another Sex in the City episode, which is like what we were talking about. Yeah. This is, and Isis agreed with me, this is my new Sex in the City.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes. And it's funny, I was just reading an article that Darren Star was being interviewed, and he said second season is always the key to a successful show.
Yeah.
It's always about second season because it takes people a while for them to finally, grab onto the show and get, and finally pay attention to the storyline and start to fall in love with these characters.
Yeah.
And mind you, I came in at the very end of season 1. So, I mean, talk about a couple of haters.
Oh my gosh. People
my
were not a
gosh.
fan of Joe.
I was being crucified by social media.
Joe.
It was hilarious to me. Well, first of all, because I'm just such a whore when it really comes down to it, in the sense where I thought, wow, they're saying awful things about me. Oh my God, they spelled my name right. It's so amazing to it. They're talking about me. My husband, I'm famous. Oh my God, I'm totally hated. My character's hated. I kind of react differently. Maybe
I love
shouldn't.
that.
I want to ask you about, you say your character's hated. For me, it's the opposite. Like, I'm in love with the character, and it's funny because there's a big Puerto Rican community here. Mm-hmm. And I went to some of my Puerto Rican friends. I was like, you gotta see this character, Joe. She's a Latina. You gotta see her. And when the audience falls in love with a character, is because somehow you kind of identify.
Really, yeah.
And,
Sure.
And for me, it was like, it's so nice to see a Latino character that's loud, vibrant, in your face. For some people, it could be obnoxious. But for me and like my friends,
You understand her.
we're like, yeah.
You understand her.
Like, we need more friends
And
like
that's
that.
your job. That is your job. Your job is to understand her and have her back. Because a lot of people will get turned off by characters like that. But if I mean, my gosh, she'd be so boring if she was like everyone else.
But
we need more friends like you that are so in your face. And
Absolutely.
what I wanted to ask you is that when it comes to the Puerto Rican language, like you say cabrón,
Sí.
Yeah, cabrón.
Cabrón tonto.
Cabrón,
Pendejo.
pendejo.
Sí.
And then, of course, there's Spanish words like that, Dios mío, things like that. When you play your character, what is it that you dig into your past, into your family, into your background as a child that really makes you bring those characteristics of a Puerto Rican character?
Well, what's really funny is that you just basically go with your gut instincts. And during the table reads, every once in a while, Joe would get really angry and she'd blow up, and it would just come out of my mouth where I'd say, "Ay, cabrón, tonto, pendejo, yo." And Marti had no idea that I was Puerto Rican because I look about as Puerto Rican as Sherry O'Terry, right? So she looked over at me and she said, "Alanna, are you Hispanic?" And I said, "Sí, Blanquita, I am." And she had no idea, and I said, "Yeah, my mother's from Mexico, my father's from Puerto Rico," and she was just floored. And especially with the bright red hair, and you just, it's not the obvious, cliche look, aesthetically speaking, of the typical Puertorriqueña. But when she heard those improv lines come out of my mouth, she thought, I have to write in that your character's Puerto Rican. I have to. It adds more spice to it. It's the lemon pepper seasoning that sometimes shows need.
I do love that lemon pepper.
It's very.
I do too.
I just whipped it out the other day. My friend was making something for me, and she was like, "Do you have any pepper?" I was like, "I have lemon pepper."
Oh, lemon pepper is the best. On eggs? Are you kidding me?
I have a question. You did say something that I think everybody has crossed their mind, where it's like, wait, she doesn't look like the typical Latina.
Sure.
Especially redhead.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of redhead Latinas.
Yeah, of course.
Now with everything that's going
a bottle redhead.
A bottle
I was gonna
redhead.
say, are you
Is it
natural
natural, or
Baby.
they dye your hair red, or is it? Or are you kind of like
a wig.
It's a
It's
wig.
a wig.
No way.
Hence my...
I was gonna say.
I was like, wow, she dyed her hair real quick.
Did dandruff just come out of my hair right now?
No.
That was like an Ali Sheedy in the Breakfast Club moment.
Snowing.
Remember when she goes like that and then like
Ali
puts the snow on her
Yes.
arm? You're 5. You don't know the Breakfast
No,
Club.
I know the breakfast.
And you're like 7, and you're what?
Oh, yeah.
2?
7.
So you be like that.
Anyway, yeah, it's a wig. So they basically start the wig in the middle of the forehead, so right here where our headphones are, so as to make the forehead line look a little more authentic, obviously. So they use your real forehead, so just these 2 strips of hair, and they dye these pieces red, and then they add on a wig from here back. And the biggest reason why they decided to dye my hair a crazy red, the first season, it was my real hair. And then my hair started coming out in chunks. And I thought, how about a wig? What a concept. And they found that it was a lot easier because they could style it before I even got there, and it was like throwing on a hat every day. It's so cool to wear a wig, you guys.
Yeah.
But I looked like Lisa Edelstein. When she first met me and I was flown out to Vancouver, and she was like, gosh, you could be a cousin of mine. We could be related with your natural color hair. And so they thought, well, let's throw a red rinse on her, like a Ronald McDonald red rinse, like a Kool-Aid red rinse. And they did, and my God, it was night and day. I looked nothing like myself, and I thought, this will work. This will totally work.
Why did they do that to your character? Why did they won't go like redhead? Do you have an idea?
Well, I think they wanted to make it look like she probably did it herself. Like she was probably having, a manic episode at 2 a.m., drove over to Rite Aid and decided, I'm going to dye my hair red because I just turned, 40 and I want to look different. I want to look loud and vibrant. I want my hair to mirror my soul. Who the hell knows?
Oh, like it's a devil?
No, I loved it. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I don't know.
Maybe make her look more loud and angry Puerto Rican.
It's the louder, the more boisterous, the better.
So I wanted to ask you, I relate not as Puerto Rican because I'm super white, but I am a New Yorker and I have like verbal diarrhea of the mouth, which Joe, suffers from.
Have you been to Argentina?
I have not.
Oh, there's a huge German population in Argentina.
Look at that.
Huge German population in Mexico, and you could totally
fit
pass.
in. Oh, fantastic.
Absolutely.
I now skew Latina. But so I've always wondered, you're doing this 12 hours a day where you're like the most unfiltered version of yourself.
Sure.
Do you ever like go home to your husband and like just say what's on your mind and be like, oh, yeah, shouldn't have let that one out?
When I get home, I'm usually exhausted. And it's funny because we film in Vancouver, and I will call him late at night, and the time changes. It's exactly the same. It's 5 o'clock in Vancouver. It's 5 o'clock in Los Angeles, and I'll give him a call, and I will just have nothing left, and I'll just let him talk about his day, and then that'll finally put me to sleep. But boy, it really does take a lot to carbonate yourself, and it's not just Diet Cola drinks and coffee beans, but it's you really have to find that sort of energy, and it does take a lot out of you to play a character like that, because she's constantly
on level 12.
Yes,
all the
she
time.
is, and those riffs that she gives sometimes, I'll just look at it in the morning, because a lot of the time if I find myself, if I do over rehearse those monologues that she says, and she's always so brassy, and they just come out of her mouth. She talks sometimes before she thinks. Her words come out even before she even, she's completely and totally unfiltered, that I thought, I'm just going to start looking at the lines the morning of in the makeup and hair trailer, and see how that works. And it works so much better because you're fresh, and it comes across as less rehearsed. At least to me it does. So.
Well, it works.
Yeah.
Thanks, chicken.
You're welcome. Whatever you're doing, it works.
Thank you, Chicken Toast.
Well, what Delia is doing, sadly,
Oh, good God, Delia.
not
Put it in your pants.
working. She is just to recap the rest very quickly because we want to talk to Alanna as much as
Yeah.
possible. You know, Delia has these photos that are delivered to her in the last episode.
Yeah.
And long story short, she finds out it's Albert's wife.
Sherry called it.
Oh yeah, you guys. Yeah, yeah, that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's karma. If you're doing something bad, you're going to get caught. You are going to get outed. It's just it's science.
And I do really like though that she called Delia called Albert's wife and just was like,
Oh, I loved that.
Let's negotiate. What do you
so
want?
smart.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
she realized he's the creeper that we knew he was all along. That
Yes.
bald little.
And I liked him.
Yeah, Isis.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's
did.
such a.
I felt for him.
Yeah, and
I'm sad for you.
yeah, it's you know, it's interesting, but I think she's just going through this sort of soul searching, self sabotage odyssey right now, and she's allowing herself to fall through the rabbit hole of self destruction because she's sabotaging the one thing that will truly inevitably make her happy, the one thing that is safe in her life, and she wants to mess it up. And it has a lot of, you know, her daddy issues and, you know, and her mother passing. There's a lot of unfinished business in her psyche, and I think she's just acting out.
So without giving away what you can't give away because they'll like ask for your first unborn child, do we see more? Because one of the big questions we've had here is we know that Delia has this like backstory of all sorts of horribleness, obviously that's leading to her behavior.
Yeah.
Do we see some of that unfold in the rest of the season in terms of shedding light on why she's making these decisions and what exactly has happened in her past that has led her to be falling apart right now?
Oh gosh, I know down deep inside she truly, truly loves her fiance. No doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. And she's also work obsessed, and she's a perfectionist. And sooner or later, I think what is about to happen is she's basically faced with you know, the mirror is placed right in front of her, and she has to ask herself, my God, what really does make me happy? What have I been lying about this whole time? What have I been lying about for years? You know, I am no longer my representative. I have to strip myself of that, you know, and ask myself, what really does make me feel safe? How am I going to fill my needs? You know,
Fill her needs.
with or without a man.
Sorry.
Albert was feeling something.
Woo! That vagina needs rest.
It does.
It really
Your
does.
emotional needs, Delia.
Yeah,
Feel
that
your
vagina-
emotional needs.
That vagina needs at least like, you know, a retreat in Big Sur, post Ranch Inn.
It just made me cringe every
Get it
time
out of
he
town.
was like, "Let me just."
Yeah, it just
yeah.
kept on getting worse. But something I really want to make sure we talk about tonight, which I think is so important, is Abby and Becca.
Oh, yes, yes.
I love it.
I really do too. A lot of fans were...
She's like Kato Caitlin. She's living in her guest house.
Single,
Kato
what is it?
Caitlin to OJ.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Single
He
white
lived in the
mommy.
guest house.
It's a
Single
little
white mommy. Little strange. Little incestuous.
Yes.
What's going on there?
Awkward.
I don't know.
Yeah. And it gets more awkward. Keep watching.
Oh, do they hook up? Because that would be super
Jesus.
awkward.
I hope
That would be fantastic.
Right?
Oh my
awkward.
gosh, that would be fantastic.
Writers,
You
you're
guys,
right.
No,
And the
lesbians.
kid comes out with this like
Till season
curly,
3.
long, wavy Jewish hair. It's Lisa's kid. It's Abby's. No.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's genetically possible, but
That would be
Heels,
amazing.
Louboutins.
It's weird, but at the same time, you, Alanna, pointed out before we started filming that Abby might be going through some shit.
Oh, sure. She's on the verge of implosion, and it's funny because, you know, you read some comments online from the people watching and everything, and they're thinking, what's going on with her? And I'm glad people are noticing, because it's the beginning of an incredible storyline.
and it's been very subtle. Like, it's
Yes.
very subtle. Like,
It's very subtle.
Lisa's definitely towed the line in her acting of like,
Yes.
is she a really bad actress, or is this like, is she just subtly hinting as to
Abby-
something happening?
Abby is not a good actress, and that's the beauty
Yeah.
of her, is that you see that she is, everything she does is painful.
Yeah.
Everything she does just walking out the
that
door
awkward
and fixing her
smile.
kid lunch and pretending like everything is okay is going to bite her in the ass.
Which, by the way, I'm sorry, I have to point this out. Where in the heck were her kids this episode? Like, they were just nowhere. Like, last episode, they were with her, like, brother-in-law's, or her brother's Manny. But, like, this episode, they were just missing.
I think they were in rehab.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, Becca's having, like, a party with the CW kids in her backyard, and she's, like, off with a gigolo, and Jake's filming in some other country, like, and the kids are, I don't know where.
You have a little left. Hold on. It's delicious. They were in rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of children, just to quickly touch on that, where the hell are Phoebe's?
Phoebe's, that's right. We even made a joke about that when we were filming. Like, where the hell are the kids?
Yeah, sorry. We kind of brushed over Phoebe's storyline mainly because it made me uncomfortable.
Yes. Awkward.
Yes. The boy who she is dating, he is what is the
JD
politically correct thing to say? He is
Asperger's?
along the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's
along the spectrum.
And it looks like they have a connection, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Awkward and strange and
needy.
Interesting.
Needy.
You know what?
Phoebe's got some things going on.
Some issues?
Yeah.
Most women do. I'll tell you something, girls. You give me the least attractive man in the world without a job. If he's interested in me, honey, I will find something attractive about that son of a bitch for give or take a week.
I just get the hairy chest.
And that's where the needy part comes.
Take him to a waxing salon. Come on. That stuff can be resolved.
Like, pet it. I don't know.
5 minutes.
I wish we could keep this conversation going all night. I think I might kidnap this little one right here.
Oh, Sammy. We're going bar hopping. We're going to make some bad decisions, kids.
I surely hope so.
Let's do it.
Before we end this week's episode, let's get into some short predictions. I want to start with us, Isis, because there we go.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
This is hilarious. It is getting very sexy in here. Sit closer, Sammy.
All right, I think after the baby's born, that's when we're going to see the breakdown. I hope. We got to see some breakdown from Abby. This little going along and dating all these guys and like trying to figure herself out and just going along. It was fun for a little bit, but I want to see her like break down. Like,
Que una muñeca. You're so cute.
I want to see something. But then Joe, I want to see Joe do some Puerto Rican stuff. Like something to that Charlene. I want something that will make people be like, oh yeah, that's what a Latina would do. Like I want to see memes all over Instagram just loving what your character does to this Charlene woman. I want to see like, Dios mío, I just want...
Car explosions,
You don't
the whole
understand.
bit. Well, it gets creepy, to say the least.
I just want something
It does, my love.
that's gonna set people like, okay, she's really crazy. Like now we get the red hair. Now we get the Puerto Rican. That's what I want to see. So that's what I hope. So breakdown with Abby, Joe do something so deviant. I don't know. I just can't even think of what, but just something really bad. And for some reason, I hope maybe in third season, the Becca says, I don't think this is Jake's baby. I think it might be the boyfriend. I don't know why.
That would be
Just after
crazy.
just after like all this ordeal of like them getting together along and helping Becca and then just realizing, I don't know, that would be so crazy.
Do you guys write? Do you write scripts?
I do.
I'm a writer. Yeah.
You're so smart, all of you. What schools did you go to?
I went to Clemson in South Carolina for
Awesome.
psychology and law, though.
Oh, it's fabulous.
University of Florida.
Awesome.
USC.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Introduce me to Marty, you know, we'll create.
Right on.
Do some rewrites.
Did you have Dr. Casper at USC?
I did, actually, yeah.
He's a great teacher. I went to
So-
USC for 5 minutes.
Oh. I was
Literally.
there the other day. So my biggest prediction is I think that Becca is going to have the baby and go through some postpartum where she feels like she can't handle being a mom and having this baby. And I think Abby's going to end up raising the baby for a time.
That's what I said, remember? Like 6 episodes ago.
Yeah, I think Abby's going to end up raising the baby for a time. and maybe that will ultimately lead to the breakdown. Phoebe is going through some sort of something. I can't even touch that one this week. But Jo, as much as I want her to hook up with a hottie toddy baker, I think she's going to fight it. She's going to resist it, because I think for the first time in her life, it's somebody who actually sees her for who she is and loves her for who she is.
Leaves her alone. Yeah.
And appreciates her flaws and doesn't want to change her. And that's something that's very scary to a lot of people, to be faced with something so real and so legit. And I think she's going to run from it and do crazy things because of it. And I also think at the same time, she's going to be torn to pieces that her daughter is enamored with Charlene, who she knows to be a monster.
Right.
And I think that is going to drive her to maybe make some not so wise decisions.
Oh, honey, only time will tell. We'll see. Alanna, don't look down to the left. Don't look down to the left. You're gonna know. Don't touch your nose.
Well, I'm not even gonna let you do predictions, because you're just gonna be touching and twirling, and I don't think you could do it.
Let me tell you something. One glass of wine and I'll end up giving you guys the entire storyline away.
Sober and under contract, she can't do it.
Well, I think that apparently from the information I've gotten tonight, Abby is about to break down, and I think she is going to end up taking care of Becca's baby. I think the relationship with Becca and Abby has grown, because it makes her I think it makes Abby likable, but I also think there's a reason that they're putting those two characters together.
Yes.
Something is going to happen that is going to need Abby and Becca to be close for whatever reason.
You're all wrong. Climate change is finally
Jake's
validated.
gonna die, and they're gonna
everyone
raise
melts.
the baby together as lesbian lovers.
We all melt. We all melt due to
Okay.
climate change, and that's the end
Love
of the
it.
show.
Well, on
Love it.
lesbian lovers and climate change, we so appreciate you guys tuning in. We love you all. Very quickly, let's say where we can find everyone on the internet.
You can find me, Isis Velazquez, #4, on Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff.
You can find me, Lindsey Miller, on Twitter, Instagram, Awkward Periscopes, at Rockin' Mama Life.
And you, Alanna, one more
That was
time.
so long. You can find me
I
at
know.
You can find me at Alanna Ubach on Instagram, Twitter, and there you go. Bob's your uncle.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at samdavidsonentertainment.com, and on Twitter and Instagram at samd43. We will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.